That sounds like a Banjo Kazooie character. Exactly. Oh, that's really good. You're really good at banjo.
Thank you.
Hello, Team Hare and Team Tortoise. Welcome to the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 25. I am your host, Oni Dino. With me, I have the crustiest crustacean, Galen.
Hey, everybody. Oni, can you say that again, just 5 times fast?
Crustiest crustacean.
A little bit faster.
That's all you get. We're moving on. So PSA to everybody, if you couldn't tell, Splatoon 2 is having a Spring Splatfest this weekend. It's live now, and it's clearly Team Hare versus Team Tortoise. Galen, which team do you think you would be?
Well, 'tis the season currently for those who celebrate it. I am very obviously Team Hare.
What?
Yeah.
But the hare in the what's this called? The anecdotal story? It was about the hare was sloppy and quick and just like wanted to get things done, and then it lost to the tortoise, who is methodical and slow and steady, and he won the race.
Well, while that does explain several aspects of my life, I was actually thinking more of the holiday. So, happy Easter to those who celebrate it. That's when this comes out, right? Yeah.
So I'm more thinking about Marina and that Octoling booty, because I love Marina so much. She's my favorite. So what's up in this episode? We are talking about some very substantial things. We're talking about how Smash 3.0 just came out. That means Joker DLC.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere for sure. We're also talking about some brand new rumors from the financial newspaper in Japan, Nikkei. These are additional rumors from Nikkei regarding a Switch Mini, more or less, coming out this year. And then some other details about some next-gen hardware. But again, these are all rumors. We'll get down and dirty with it later on in the podcast. And then we have some more solid information that the Nintendo Switch looks like it's going to be sold pretty soon in mainland China. And some more stuff. So, don't laugh. Let's get into our adventure log and then move on to the news. This is going to be a weird one. Galen, why don't you tell me about Unepic?
Yeah, so picked up a little game called Unepic. Originally played this back on the Wii U for the first time. It's a traditional side view RPG dungeon crawler.
Okay.
Think very much of like Legend of Zelda 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you play a guy who was playing a game of tabletop RPG with his friends, went up to go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden found himself in a mysterious dungeon that wants to kill him. Mm-hmm. That's all the exposition you get.
That's all the expedition? What?
Expedition?
That's all the expiration you need.
Well, exposition aside, the expedition that you take through this place is...
Oh, so good! Turning it around!
It's full of very self-referential humor, a lot of jokes in regards to not necessarily nerd pop culture, just like common trends that are in that. It doesn't reference anything in particular, but you definitely know what they're trying to make a joke about.
Okay.
But as far as the gameplay goes, like, it's a solid structure RPG. It gives you a lot of different ways to actually play the game. If you want to play as a ranger, you can take all of your points from leveling up and put them into your bow. As opposed to if you want to play as more of a rogue, you can go ahead and like equip a small dagger and make sure that you turn off the lighter that you use as a light source and kind of like sneak up onto the enemies.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. This game, though, is pretty tough, all things considered. Like, the very first room that you come across is a room that is full of treasure, and there's this ghost companion that has inhabited your body, but apparently your soul doesn't link up with everyone else, so he's kind of just trapped there. So he spends the entire time trying to get you killed so his soul can be freed.
Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of that's fun.
Mm-hmm. But he's your lore dump or lore guide through the game.
Mm.
You come across this room that's like filled with treasure, and he's like, oh, look at all this treasure. You can use this to buy so much stuff. Go ahead and pick it up. And then you pick up the coins, get into the next room, and you realize that your health is really depleting, and you realize it's all cursed treasure, and it was totally a trap.
I see. So would you say that this game is kind of like Dark Souls?
I really didn't want to. But
Oh no, don't even say it.
I will definitely say that it is very unforgiving with it, and it is following along the school of thought where you learn from your mistakes, but those mistakes can get you killed, so you better get good on the next try.
I see.
Yeah. It's a really fun game. I really liked it when I played it on the Wii U. Had to put it down because I think something else came out around that time, and I just got distracted.
I can't imagine something coming out on the Wii U. No,
I think it was Wonderful 101.
That's a good game.
I wonder if we'll ever see a remake of that game.
We need to see something. I loved it.
Callbacks aside, it was a really good game. I picked it up on the Wii Shop, or the eShop, especially because it was on sale when I picked it up. And yeah, it's really fun.
Cool. And you also played some Smash Ultimate, but we're going to save that for a little bit of a segue into our news section.
Yes. Oh, one thing about Smash before we continue. Follow up to last week's episode, I did get some testing in with that amiibo, that new Young Link amiibo that came out for Smash on Breath of the Wild. And you get stuff, but I'm not sure if there's any like special weapons that you can get from it like you can with the other ones.
So still inconclusive?
Yeah, and like I sat there for...
What the hell kind of reporting are you doing then?
Well, no, it's so I tried this out for like an hour and a half straight of just like using the amiibo, getting nothing from the chest of worthy note, and then resetting. And it was very monotonous. I drove myself a little bit crazy after a while. But as a comparison, I also used the Majora's Mask amiibo, which drops the Fierce Deity equipment. And it did that as compare and contrast to try to get some like, is this just like a really rare drop rate, or what exactly is going on here? Did not get any specialized unique items from this new amiibo.
So it's just like any other amiibo. It's nothing.
Yeah. It is very strange because every time I used it, it drops a lot of fish around the actual chest.
Oh, lots of those do that though. Usually when you tap an amiibo in, it gives you like a bunch of fruit or a bunch of meat or a bunch of fish, I think.
Mm-hmm. But I found that the only other one that usually gives you fish was the Toon Link one from
Wind Waker.
that they came out with Wind Waker. Yeah.
That makes sense. So still inconclusive.
Still inconclusive. Not sure if there's anything else to it. If I'm wrong, please send me a tweet. I would love to know that I didn't waste all of my time, just most of it. So
No, still tweet at him and tell him he wasted his time. Still do it. So as for me, I have been still continuing my journey through Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody. And I'm on the last leg of that game. I'm in the last third of it, and holy hell did I forget about all of the insane amounts of despair and nihilism in the last third of that game.
Really?
Yes. It is in stark contrast to the adorable characters and very inoffensive design.
Well, it's a Final Fantasy game. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, but...
Yeah, so even though it's really adorable and it's kind of pulled back in a lot of ways, it's still a Final Fantasy game. So we're still talking about heady themes that are really unnecessary. However, they did do a good job of not making it into a damn Kingdom Hearts game. And it's just about a town of people who lost their memories and for whatever stupid reason of, nonsense. And that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just imagining, like, at the beginning of the game, oh, hey, look, Chocobo's on a playground. He's helping people. He's wearing cute costumes. This is so fun. End of the game comes around. You just see Chocobo on a slide, and Sid kind of walks up like, you got to get off the slide, dude. You got to get off. You have a problem.
If that were all the game was, I would buy this game 3 times. Because those are my favorite parts so far of the entire game is the little animations. I talked about this a couple episodes ago. The animations that they animated just because it's cute. Oh, so great. I love Chocobo. Anyway, in this last portion of the game, everyone suddenly is just the most despaired of any game I've ever seen that has cutesy characters and a cute Chocobo. People throughout the game have been losing their memories, and you try and help recover them, and eventually, if you've recovered these 2 particular characters' memories, they remember that they were actually husband and wife, and then they also remember that they had a child, and the child apparently died in the last apocalypse. And then when
oh my god,
I know, and then they remember this, and then they're like, well, with the next apocalypse coming, at least we get to see our dead child again.
Oh my god,
I know, this is a damn Chocobo game. And then you meet these other 2 kids that forget that they're brother and sister, and then they remember, and then they also remember that they had parents who also died in the apocalypse. It's outrageous.
Jeez.
And 2 of my favorite tonally dissonant lines that I've read so far is at this point in time, you go to the cafe owner, and he goes, welcome. Care for a nice cup of cocoa to take your mind off the apocalypse? And then my favorite and relatable one is the gossipy woman over by the bank, where you go and talk to her at this time, and she goes, ooh, have you heard? There's no more reason to live. I know it's true. I heard the rumor. This is Chocobo. This is Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, everybody.
What the hell?
I know! I totally forgot that the game is like this. That's why, like, the Twin Peaks nonsense that I was feeling in the beginning is definitely there. It's so strange.
The end credit scene is just Chocobo OD'd off of Gessel Greens. The entire game is just an OD fantasy, is like he slips slowly into a coma.
They're like, oh, Chocobo, I never thought I'd see the day that you die.
Oh god. Just realized this theory fits because of multiple Armageddons. This isn't his first time Chocobo's been down this path.
Chocobo, little did we know you were fighting your own personal Armageddon. Poor Chocobo, he held on to that AIDS longer than Magic Johnson.
No Phoenix Downs can ever help you now.
It's okay if you die in the apocalypse. At least you get to see Aerith again. Hitting home runs today, folks. Just knock them out of the park.
Jeez.
My cough is better. So anyway. Anyway, that's Chocobo game. That's a trip.
It's going to be one of those episodes, ladies and gentlemen.
So the bad thing, though, I do want to say about everybody is that there are characters from previous entries in the game, and you don't need to know what's going on to enjoy this game, but you will be like, okay, I know I'm missing out because you've introduced these characters like we know them, and it's clearly from one of the older DS games or something like that. I played a bunch of them. There was one on the DS. I remember I was visiting you forever ago, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something. And it was on the DS, and there was a card battle thing online, and I was killing everybody at that. I was so good at it. It was one of those Chocobo mystery games. And it was fantastic. Loved it. But that's where you meet some of these characters. And then now in Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody, you're introduced to them like you already know them. And I sort of do remember them, but if this is your first game, you're going to be like, wish they kind of would have included a little backstory or a little bit of information for me being a new person or whatever. But it doesn't hinder the entire experience or anything like that. You know what kind of characters these are based on their character designs. It's very obvious this is not a deeply written game. There's just a lot of tonal dissonance.
I'm trying to remember what game it was that you were playing. Was it Chocobo Tales?
Yeah.
Ah.
Wow, good job
do.
remembering that. I don't remember that.
I do remember that game.
I would love to see them sort of usher that into the new generation as well, because the online battles in that were fantastic. And I'm not like much of an online player at all, but I don't know, maybe it was just because I was so good at them. So I was happy that I was winning. Anyway.
But you can never win against your addiction.
Poor Chocobo. It's too funny.
It's so dumb.
Poor Chocobo. He got into those Geisel greens and then he could never stop. Okay.
He spent all of his gil. He got into so much debt just for the Gissel greens. Sid wasn't his friend. Sid was his pimp. I know that.
And Shirama was actually the debt collector.
Oh, God.
That's why they came to the town of Lost Time, and that's why everyone forgot their memories, because Chocobo owed so many debts because of his addiction. Oh my God.
He was our golden Chocobo for now and always. He always said he could run on water. We never believed it. But we let him. We let him try.
He was just a regular Chocobo. He couldn't walk on water. He couldn't climb mountains like the other golden Chocobo. He was actually just a really, really bad offspring that somebody just kicked right out of the Chocobo stables in late game Final Fantasy VII. That minigame was tedious, and now he's got an addiction. Too many nuts and Geisel greens. We have to move on. We can't keep doing this voice the entire podcast.
No, this is going to be the entire episode. Let's just run with it, see where it goes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And so just to bow end this whole thing, I also played a little bit of Snipper Clips, which I haven't been playing in a very, very long time. Played that with a bunch of friends. A little bit inebriated, which makes that game so much more fun and so much harder. So big recommendations. I do a big recommendation to you for the drunken Snipper Clips.
It sounds like it is safer and more fun than my drunken Mario Party. So
Yes. There's no shots involved. You're already drinking and then you're like, oh, let's play a game. That's it.
you're just drinking and playing Snipper Clips.
Yeah, that's it. There's no rules. You got to focus on trying and telling each other what they're supposed to do. So Smash 3.0 just dropped the other day. This includes Stage Builder, Video Editor, Joker DLC, some DLC spirits, and Smash World, which is a service on the Nintendo Switch Online app for smart devices. And then also, of course, check out our post on our website, nintendoeverything.com, for the full list of patch notes, which includes buffs and debuffs to all of the characters. There's lots of shield-related buffs and debuffs, which is very interesting, too.
There's lots of shield and grab ones that I'm seeing on here.
Okay.
In regards to like timing and whatnot. Also, Diddy Kong, massive buff to a lot of his stuff, like increased attack range. Yeah, increased attack range, increased attack speed, increase the amount of time hit detections last.
Wow.
Yeah, and on the other side of that coin, you've got my man Mega Man, who has reduced the power of the attack against shields, reduced the power of attack against shields with his neutral attacks. There's a lot of them that he's just been nerfed pretty hard. His down special, reduced attack speed, increased vulnerability, throwing type items can no longer be thrown while using the leaf shield. Like, it's, there's a lot there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So speaking of these kinds of things, Galen, you got way more time in on Smash 3.0 and playing as Joker as well than I did. So why don't you hit me with your impressions of the game so far?
Yeah, I mean, Joker's a lot of fun. I think he plays more like a serious character than Piranha Plant did.
Well, that's an easy one because Piranha Plant is an entirely trickster. He's super trickster.
Yeah, my impressions of playing around as Joker, he's very fast, very nimble. His gun attack does not have the impact that I expected it to have, considering the speed of actually using the attack. Like, the best way that I can put it is it does about the same amount of damage as like Fox's blaster, but it fires about as quickly as Falco's blaster does.
Oh, so slower.
Yeah, it's a much slower speed to it, but it doesn't have that like oomph or impact to it.
Yeah, so speaking of that, Fox's blaster doesn't have hit stun, but Falco's has a little bit of hit stun to it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I felt like that was a good compromise for the slower speed, but it looks like they didn't actually go with that. I mean, I felt like when I was playing it, a lot of the movement and a lot of the ways that they were making this character, it almost feels like they were hesitant to put too much onto him, considering how much Bayonetta kind of broke the game when she came out for the last one. Because when Bayonetta... blah, 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 blah.
Bayonetta.
When Bayonetta came out for the last one, if I remember correctly, they really didn't do any more balancing or anything like that past that point. She was the last character, and here's our finished version of Smash 4. Have fun.
I don't think that's correct, though. They did do some balancing, if I remember right, because I remember her witch time being a little nerfed and some other things getting nerfed, but still she was... I think that there were some fundamental things that didn't gel with the other characters as well. But they did totally rework her for this new one, for Smash Ultimate, because I remember I tried her out and I was trying to do a lot of my old combos and I was like, ooh, can't string those together anymore. I gotta relearn how to play her, which is actually probably even harder because she still feels kind of like Bayonetta from Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I actually watched a YouTube video that did a very good job explaining this, and their big, eye-opening point was that at one of the, I think it was EVO, or it was some sort of Smash Bros. Tournament that they were at, where almost everybody was just playing Bayonetta. Like, anybody in, like, the top 4 or top 8 tier, it was just Bayonetta. It was just mirror match after mirror match after mirror match, and a lot of the community kind of had this outcry of, hey, what are you doing? This isn't fun when it's just, like, one player, and who can play this character the best?
Yeah.
There wasn't that spectacle that you would normally find in a fighting scene community. I felt like when I was playing as Joker, they took that into consideration, and they were very cautious when they were developing his character out.
That's interesting.
Don't get me wrong. He still feels very unique. I mean, he feels like a cross between a bunch of the different characters that are in the game. His side B, for example, reminds me a lot of Ness or Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Robin?
I saw
Is
that.
his name? Yeah, Robin.
I saw that in the YouTube video. By the way, I forgot to mention, there is a great YouTube video that Nintendo put out the day before Smash 3.0 launched, and it has a total breakdown of Joker's moveset, so check that out. Yeah, when I saw his side special, I was like, oh, that's just Robin's attack. It just with like different effects on it.
I do like the poison effect that it has on it, and I feel like that is something that is incredibly unique. Also, the fact that his down, like for the first half of his character, his down B doesn't actually counter. It just halves the damage and negates the excessive knockback that you would normally find to it.
And it builds up that meter, right? That's like the main thing.
It skyrockets that meter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It changes his character into kind of like a calculated risk-reward type character, which I think is something we haven't really seen a whole lot of.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, I think that Joker is a good addition to it. I will admit I haven't played a lot of Persona 5 myself, so a lot of the odes to his character, those were kind of lost on me, which I feel was a bit of a shame, but
Yeah.
I could definitely tell they were there and they were definitely implemented with care. So, really happy with what they came out with. I kind of was hoping, like, that video you were talking about where they showed, like, everything that was coming out with a 3.0 update. I was really kind of hoping that they were going to give some sort of a clue as to who the next character was, and just that
they
little
won't do
glimpse
that yet.
of... Well, and just a little bit of a tease or a little bit of a hint, just for speculation's sake.
That's gonna take the wind out of Joker's sails, and then that's all it's gonna be is just speculation. Because
Yeah.
people don't care. I mean, they do care about who is when they are in the game, but what they care the most about is the speculation and the questioning and theories and stupid YouTube videos with arrows and crap on it.
Ugh. So many thumbnails.
Yeah. But that's the real thing that gets the real people talking around the water cooler that doesn't exist because those Smash players don't have jobs.
Breaking away from Joker a little bit, kind of looking at the rest of what they've been able to implement. I really like what they did with the spirit section and including the spirits related to the new DLC character.
Yeah.
There's a separate menu, you go through there, and it's not like the regular spirit board where if you fail once while going, you have to wait for him to, or the spirit to recycle. You have as many tribes as you want to.
Tribes. As many tribes.
As many tribes as you want to.
Yeah, that's great.
But there was a lot. Like, I spent a good, like, half an hour kind of going through each and every one of them, just trying to get to the very end and get to that last one. So, and you can also get them in any order, too, which I like. And then, I guess kind of a spoiler, not really. When you get all of them, you get 10,000 gold, which was just a nice bonus. Just like, here, boom.
That's cool. That's
You
not a
complete
spoiler.
it,
That's
good
more
going
like
for
an
you.
unknown bonus.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a surprise to me. I will say that.
So you got them all.
So, I did get them all. Persona. Looking at the other features, I tried out the stage builder.
Yeah.
Stage builder is cool. I really do like the ability to rotate the panels, the different layers that they have in there. The warping mechanic, I haven't actually got a chance to play around with that a whole lot, but I've tried other stages, which we'll get into in a second, where you can, it's like a magic portal that if your character gets knocked into, you instantly get ported to another area, which
Yeah.
I didn't know about that when I was building my stage, so that opens up like a whole new world of things that I can do.
Yeah.
The thing that I was most impressed by that I did not expect to be impressed by was the share feature that you can find in the online section. I haven't actually tried like the app yet, but
Okay.
looking through the various content that they have on there and looking at like, hey, these are the hot stages, these are the hot clips, these are the hot characters that you can make. They've got some good variety in there, and I guess it really doesn't surprise me, but it makes me happy to see the kind of creativity that people are putting into their Mii fighters when they have on there. Like, when I was looking through it, I was like, okay, that's Peter Griffin. Okay, that's Donald Trump. Okay, that is Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, we're downloading that one. What's the deal with... No, I'm not doing this joke. Anyway.
I look around, there's 70 different characters. Who are these people?
Yeah, it's... And they're really easy to download. You get to try them out a little bit beforehand to see if it's, just like the stock image or what the moveset that they actually gave to that character was, to see if that makes sense or anything. So I appreciated that feature. There were a couple of videos that I found on there that were okay. Like, a lot of them were... They didn't make a whole lot of sense, or other than, hey, here's this funny Smash compilation or anything like that.
Wow, that sounds awful.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything. I know that Nintendo's trying to build up this whole, hey, share your amazing achievements and give it this cinematic overtone. Not quite there just yet, but good effort. Keep trying. There was one video, though, that I found that I really liked. It was a video of Mario grabbing an opponent, throwing him off, running over, and then just disrespecting him by all means by doing a smash or a meteor smash and sending him straight into a ground or straight off the bottom of the screen. And then again, and then again. And it was like the series of like 7, 8, 9 different people where it's just like, it was a very impressive display skill, let's just say.
Okay.
Yeah, those kind of videos I liked. Those ones I appreciated. I actually gave that one a yeah.
Oh my goodness, a Miiverse yeah.
A Miiverse yeah for not Miiverse because that doesn't exist anymore.
God, that was a cesspool. Miiverse was terrible.
Rip Miiverse.
It was so exciting in the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 months when it first came out. I remember talking to people about Zombie U on there and making a whole bunch of like interesting friends with all of like the early adopters and, you know, sharing things that like, oh, hey, how do I do this area or whatever. It was exactly how it was intended to be used. And then it turned into absolute, pure, unadulterated garbage.
Yeah. And it's sad because, you know what? I'm right there with you. I think I shared a lot of Zombie U footage and New Super Mario Bros. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Good effort, Nintendo. Good effort. You know, it's also a good effort. The downloadable stages.
Now, I am excited to hear about this because I have not dabbled in this, but I have been hearing about these downloadable stages and the interesting things that people have been creating with them. I want to preface this with a fantastic comment I read on our website, and I wish I remembered the person's name. Sorry, I don't remember your name. They said, "Give a man the tools to build, and he will build a penis."
Yeah. I could not have put it simpler myself.
I mean, let's just like dial it back here into the history. What was PictoChat on the OG DS other than Wang Sharer?
You draw dicks.
You just draw a dong and you
eccentrics.
share it. That's it.
And then you share the one where it's like multiple screens and multiple messages worth it.
Oh, that was always so much fun.
Yeah. I miss PictoChat.
Is there something you're trying to tell us there, Galen?
No.
Are
no.
you saying?
Now I got distracted.
Well, that's staying in.
So yeah, the stages that I saw, some of them were like honest attempts at building like a legit stage. I saw a couple of Poke Floats.
Yeah, everybody loves Poke Floats.
I saw some weird ones where they were just pictures of people. Like one of my favorites was Thanos from Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, I thought you meant Thanos from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
No. That's actually played by Colin Mockery. No.
That's a joke for like 2 freaking people. That is a joke for 2 people. If you got that joke, you are one of us. Thank you for listening.
But in the stage, you got to fight on top of the Infinity Gauntlet, and it actually used that warp mechanic too as part of like the Infinity Gems or whatever that they had in it. But they used the layering feature to actually show like Thanos in the background. It was a cool concept. It was a little weird, but you know, I appreciated it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do some really interesting stuff with the layering effect where they kind of just draw a little bit of art in the background. And
yeah,
I like that. It's very creative.
Mm-hmm.
But what else did you see?
And then you get to the Rule 34 worthy stuff. My favorite was one called Alabama Twins, and it was the Mario Brothers.
No, I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. Oh God.
Let me try to say this as safe for work as possible.
You know what? I have a feeling that you shouldn't even say anything, and then you just let people assume and make up the stuff in their brain of what that is.
So it is Mario and Luigi, and they are being very friendly with each other. And it was strange because there was a warp cannon placed on Luigi.
Uh-huh.
And one of your starting characters started out on the foot of Luigi. Well, you have to kind of jump around in order to get back onto the main stage. But if you didn't jump properly, you landed up in the warp cannon, which then shot you out. And then you saw the full image, and it was just like, who the hell made this?
You know what? That is actually brilliant, though, because if you're like, I don't know what this is, and then the warp cannon takes you to where the screen stretches out, and then you're like, oh my god! Like, that's quality work. That I do a big laugh on that.
I laughed really hard when I saw it the first time. Did not download it. And it was not there when I checked the message boards again.
So that is also a bit of the news. Nintendo has been cracking down on some stages that were uploaded, usually depicting sexual stuff.
Mm-hmm. Inappropriate.
Yeah.
So
that's the internet today.
Yep. But overall impression, I mean, all stage build or questionable stage builder ideas aside, I really do appreciate what they did on making these stages accessible and easy to share. Because beforehand, you just had the codes to go off of, and you had to enter in all those codes just to get to a particular way that it was made. And this is so much easier and so much more friendly and inviting, and being able to create a community to share with.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't touched it at all, so I'm looking forward to it then, based off of your little impressions there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a good laugh, and I liked it. Plus, I downloaded a Seinfeld brawler.
You put me in Smash? I know! I'm in Smash! Oh, I love Seinfeld. Yo, so, okay, that video editor, though, that you were saying with some different stuff put together, I'm gonna throw a mean curveball everybody's way, including yours, because this reminds me of ideas that you and I had when playing Melee way back in the day when Melee was out and that was the freshest Smash Bros. We were thinking,
oh my god, I know what you're talking about.
We were thinking about making anime music videos, because that was what you did at the time. Except there was, of course, no YouTube. There was no way to share this stuff. So we just were going to make it for ourselves just for fun, and then put it on, oh my god, I don't know, Napster or Kazaa or something like that. Because that's how you shared stuff before. And AMVs were what everybody downloaded. It was going to be a music video, and for the music, I was super into Lords of Acid at the time.
Yep.
If you do not know who Lords of Acid is right now, that makes sense because they have not been relevant for a long time. They're like a whole bunch of different kinds of techno just throughout decades worth. So they've done like basically every trend of techno. And it was just going to be like Peach when she grabs characters and she does her forward throw and she slaps them. It was going to be basically that with like a bunch of different characters. We even started to record some footage with like some crude thing that you had. I don't remember. It was some video recorder. But now, with the power of Nintendo Switch, we can make our dreams a reality.
We can make our reality dreams. Only if you have the Labo VR.
Oh, no. This is just too many bad things with that. Labo was a mistake. VR is bad. I covered that in an episode like 5 episodes ago. I got there accidentally. I wandered into it. I said it aloud, and I was like, oh, nope, shut it down.
Ready? Go!
So in other news, we have a release date for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. It launches July 19th worldwide. And we've also received the box art. Box art has been revealed. We see lots of different characters in there. Check out our website for the full box art. It's very pretty, very full of color. One of my favorite things when I saw this is, of course, I see 4 X-Men on the cover. That's great. I was worried it was going to be just Wolverine or something like that. But I see Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, and Scarlet Witch. I almost said Scarlett Johansson. So that's great. Hopefully there's more X-Men coming along. Even if it's in freaking DLC, I don't care. Give me my X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, we can see there's Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and Spider-Gwen in there too. That's pretty exciting.
I'm really excited about that. I feel like that has something to do with the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I'm okay with, honestly. Like, for one, I'm kind of surprised that they are releasing this game as late as they are, considering the hype of Endgame.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was going to release really close to Endgame, like maybe a bit after it, but like when does Endgame come out? The end of
Endgame actually comes out on the 26th here in the States. So
of what?
Yeah.
Of this month?
Yeah, this month.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it comes out like next week.
Wow.
But this game, I mean, July 19th, that's like 2.5, 3 months away.
Yeah, that's literally 3 months away.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I'm kind of glad that they are taking their time and like making sure they make these two distinctive, that, hey, we don't just want people who are hyped on the Avengers bandwagon to come into this. We want it to be known for the merits of it being a good game and not like mixing those two. I appreciate that. I'm just surprised that they didn't like shorten that up a little bit.
Yeah, because you can tell that there are threads, well, very thick threads of the Infinity War movie tie-in kind of stuff. You know, you're fighting Thanos and what is it, the Black Order? I want to say the Black Queen. That is not it. I'm thinking of Killer Queen Black and also just Queen and all that stuff.
Well, and also the big announcement at the last actual trailer for this, when they were like, hey, you can play this game and you can play as Captain Marvel, the new person who's coming out in the movie in a week or two.
Right, yeah.
And it was like, it was a very, obviously, they're pointing out this one single character because of the relation and the timing of the movies.
Yes.
So, yeah, they definitely had it in mind. It was just a very interesting choice overall.
Yeah. Carol Danvers has been in previous Ultimate Alliance games, though, so she isn't a new inclusion. This version of her, I think, is kind of new for the Ultimate Alliance games. I think she was her like older classic version.
Yeah, she's gone through a couple of costume changes.
Definitely.
So.
And even like power changes. She was binary at one time when she had like the power of a star.
I think she technically still has this. I don't know. I don't follow the comics close enough.
Yeah, neither do I. According to sales, no one's really following the comics.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Slight
that movie, by the way?
sidetrack.
Oh.
I was just going to ask you that.
Oh my god.
Yes, I actually have seen that movie. I really liked it.
Oh, really?
It was a lot of fun. And I really like what they did with her character as a whole. She was a very inspiring person. I could definitely tell that there were tones of female empowerment with the way that she was written, but it was never at a point where they like are trying to beat you over the head and like shove it down your throat to the point where it like ruins her character from like it's not like in the background of my mind of, oh, well, they're doing this because of this reason, they're trying to appeal to this demographic. Yeah. It's not that. She's just a really well-written character. It's the exact way like Black Panther was written. Like there were definitely racial empowerment messages that were in there, but that was never like written to try to take advantage or try to monopolize off of that. It was just written as a good movie. So
I see.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate the movie. I would recommend it.
Okay, because I haven't seen it yet. I've just been busy, and I also don't really care about Captain Marvel as a character. I think that the most interesting thing about her is that Rogue completely beats the crap out of her and takes her powers. So I'm not particularly interested in her. I don't feel one way or another about it. It's just I don't feel strongly enough to drag my butt to the movies yet. So we'll see. Maybe I'll see it. Do you think...
I will give you a heads up. From what I can tell, there's nothing really in Captain Marvel that you need to know going into Endgame.
That was exactly what I was going to ask you. I mean, considering that stupid movie comes out next week, then I probably don't have time to see this other one. I'm a busy man. I'm a businessman. What kind? I'm a neo businessman.
Let's go, bub.
Moving on. Something that made a little bit of waves a few days ago on the internet was Nikkei releasing more rumors that a Switch Mini is happening this autumn. And I read through the entire source article. It was kind of long, and it read as like such a tabloidy editorial piece, like kind of propaganda-esque. I was just like rolling my eyes the entire time as I was reading through it. The pertinent stuff to us as Nintendo fans is that they claim some more very vague rumors about this Switch Mini. They describe it as a smaller and cheaper version of the current model, mainly focusing on portability, but it can still be connected to a TV. This kind of makes sense that something like this would come out. We've seen lots of hardware revisions for basically every piece of successful hardware in the past few generations. So, I mean, maybe this will happen, and I think it would be smart because they're trying to capitalize on that 3DS and 2DS market that is dwindling away faster than they thought it would. And then plus with Pokemon coming out, I think a lot of people are going to be picking up Pokemon and a Switch for the first time. I know a couple of friends that will be doing just that. So, before I move into the story any further, do you want to talk about the Switch Mini, Galen? What do you think about this potential thing that might exist?
I mean, there have been rumors in the past that they're coming out with two different models of it. One is going to be like a higher end performance model, but not necessarily what you would consider like a Switch Pro or anything like that. And then they've referenced this mini version, which is going to be different compared to what your normal expectations are. I feel like I've speculated on this before in the past, and
we all have. Boy, am I tired of it.
Yeah. So I won't go into too much detail.
Yeah.
If I had to throw my tinfoil hat into the speculation ring, I would like to see the Switch incorporate some sort of clamshell device.
Oh, right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. Oh, God. What was that old... I felt like there was an old PlayStation Portable that they came out with as like their late generation that slid up. And it had the controllers underneath it for like the control pad.
That
but then
sounds
you can
familiar.
slide it closed and then put it in your pocket.
Yeah, was that the one, the PSP that was all digital too?
PSP Go. That's what it was called.
Okay, yeah. That was definitely ahead of
Yes.
its time. Even releasing now an all digital console, I don't know if the world is ready for that just yet, but yeah, PSP Go was ahead of its time in terms of that.
Yeah. And speaking of digital, that's actually a really good point. I think that this would be a good time to come up with an all-digital console or an all-digital version of the Switch. I really don't see much need for the actual cartridges, considering if they're focusing on something with a portability aspect to it.
I don't disagree with you, but the Nintendo market, like, with you saying that right now, 1 million people just unsubscribed from listening to this podcast. There are so many avid fans for physical media, and they get super upset when the card has a mandatory download or something. Understandable, I totally agree. But I think that the Switch market does, kind of ironically from public perception, it does attract more people who are collectors or are more dedicated towards gaming.
Yeah. And I mean, I will correct myself on this one because it was either last episode or the one before that. We literally had a listener write in asking about physical collections and things like that. So I'm just saying that if they wanted to focus more on portability, it would make more sense for them to focus more on the digital aspect of it, because that would be less that you would have to carry around with you. And
right.
if you were able to somehow put everything into a smaller form factor, maybe make the screen a little bit smaller, and then give that clamshell aspect to it, basically what they have for the DS or the 3DS right now, like the 3DS XL, I see that checking a lot of the boxes for portability that would make this more appealing to the people who want to carry something that small around with them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if they can, because I mean, I think the screen size is fine. They shouldn't shrink that screen size, but they can shrink I forgot what the proper word is, but like just like the space that's around the screen. So you lose a couple centimeters in each direction there, and then have the
bezel.
Bezel, there it is. Thank you.
Yes.
And then have like a like a spot where the Joy-Con can like go and like retract and go inside of the thing. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Suddenly me saying that aloud, I was like, wait a second, that doesn't really make sense. But I mean like some way that can like sort of fold together. So that way, if it's just the tablet screen itself, it's the size of your phone. And as long as it can be that perfect size of a whatever Galaxy S, whatever the hell, that's the market, because everybody's got a phone, right? It fits in their pocket. So if they can reach that size, that's perfect for a mini.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to go a little bit deeper into this story, Nikkei also mentioned that a next-gen console is also in the works from Nintendo. Now, when I say that, I do want to say, calm down, people. This is no surprise here. This is totally standard for companies to do R&D on their future console for years before they finally settle on a concept and they move on to pre-production and so on and so forth. So don't worry there. Plus, this is just a rumor from Nikkei, and they are saying something that is such a broad brush statement that it has to be true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like saying Nintendo is working on a new Mario game. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to come out several years from now. Who knows if it'll be a Switch game, but I mean like, of course Nintendo is going to release another console. Of course Nintendo's going to, you know what I mean? So this is honestly a non-statement. However, the reason that I bring this up is because there was a website, and I won't name who, because I don't want to be a jerk, because that's rude. But there was a website that reported on this, and what are you laughing at? Don't laugh. You're embarrassing me in front of the hares and the tortoises. I almost called them whores.
I'm sorry. Just saying that you don't want to be a jerk, and I'm thinking back to every single episode that I've been.
Oh, God. No, shut up, Galen. I don't want to be a jerk, okay? So shut up.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, you still apologized. Why are you succumbing to my power? Anyway.
Because I'm a nice guy.
So as we at Nintendo Everything were looking over this source article, and we were finishing up our translations and talking amongst the team to make sure that our translations were accurate, another website released a translation based on the same source article, and the website, I feel very confidently to say, used Google Translator or something like that, because Google Translate, when I put that certain sentence in there, spat out this word salad of incorrectness, and it was the exact same kind of mistranslated sentiment. This website reported that a Switch Pro model was delayed due to technical issues, particularly with getting the OS running on the Pro model. Now, this is so not what that sentence said at all. This is just a crappy translate kicked out of an automatic translator. And that is why you need to hire translators like myself when you're reporting. Now, what that sentence actually said was that Nintendo is working on R&D for a next-gen console and doing various tests, such as tinkering with the OS and upgrading graphical display and such. Honestly, not interesting stuff, just like I prefaced this with.
But Demon, Google Translate is always very accurate.
So anyway, I wanted to bring this up in case you happen to hear that or read that. So I just wanted to clear the air on that. And also I got a bit of a dog in the fight on that because I'm a translator, right? So just hire translators, please. For the love of God, give us jobs because we can make this sound better for you. But I want to bookend this with saying that I'm really proud of our team and our boss here at Nintendo Everything for investigating this thoroughly and waiting to post our own article because we wanted to be accurate. We didn't want to put out misinformation. And as it turned out, we were just about to post our article and we were like, wait, did we misread this? And we had to go back through and we were like, no, we were right from the very get-go. We could have posted this like an hour ago or whatever. And whatever, it doesn't matter. But my point is just, I want people to stop spreading misinformation. I also want people to hire translators and stop thinking that automatic translation, like Google Translate or what's the other thing that people use? Bing, I guess? I don't know. That doesn't work. It's not helpful.
I think people also use Babelfish.
I was about to say Babelfish. I seriously was about to say that, and I was like, no, that doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
This is like a weird wavelength thing that we've got going on today.
Poor Chocobo. Okay. Rant over. So sorry for all that. But I feel so passionately about it, you know? And I was proud of our team. Cowabunga! So our last bit of news here. Nintendo Switch might be getting sold in mainland China soon. Now, according to a Twitter user called Chinese Nintendo, approval has recently been granted to Nintendo by the Chinese government. So if you didn't know, if you want your products to be sold in mainland China, you need special approval from the government. This is because they are a communist country and the government controls all of the media that goes in and out. They control the papers and everything. So they want to make sure that it is protecting the government's brand or something like that. I don't know. I never majored in Chinese politics. So ask somebody about that. They'll know a little bit more. I just like video games and history and culture. So this Twitter user says that this is also going to be distributed by Tencent. And if you don't know who Tencent is, they are a Chinese multinational investment holding conglomerate. That's a big old mouthful of a bunch of business words. They specialize in mostly technology and entertainment globally, and they own stock in all kinds of markets and all kinds of subsidiaries. And when you look at the list of the hundreds of subsidiaries and associates they have, it's a little bit weird and a little bit concerning. Kind of like they're going to be like the one company that owns all companies in the entire world or something. Anyway.
Did you pick up my tinfoil hat?
Tinfoil hat off, passing it back over to Galen.
Yeah.
They are also the largest video game company in the world too, because they own parts of companies like Epic Games, Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, and many others. So
yeah,
pretty fascinating, this Tencent. So lots of Nintendo games have been getting Chinese support or have had Chinese language support with the Switch UI updates or from day one. So this is kind of making sense. I mean, the Switch is being sold. I don't know if it's an official capacity in Taiwan, but it is being sold in Taiwan to some degree. And then also in Hong Kong, it's being sold. So people speak Chinese there. So it's, you know, I got the Jerry Seinfeld in me now. Listen to that. Now, Nintendo's fiscal year results meetings are coming up this next week, so we might hear something there. But with these rumors coming out, Nintendo's stock surged upwards by 13%, which is cool news. And thank you very much to a commenter on our site, Golden Triforce, for pointing that out. I wouldn't have known. So Galen, being a Chinese national yourself who lives in China, what do you think about this Chinese Switch being sold? It's just a Switch. It's being sold in China. 你想什么? What do you think?
Cool. I mean, this is the first time that I've even heard about this issue itself, and I don't know what that says about me and, you know, worldwide policies, but
Uncultured.
Yeah, I'll take that. So yeah, I mean, I was surprised to hear that this was even something that they were putting into consideration, or that even needed consideration itself. I'm always excited to hear that video games are expanding onto more people and being more accessible to people who want to partake in it. So I'm glad this is going through. Not sure how I feel about Tencent getting a hold of it. Like, I'm skeptical from a anti-monopoly standpoint of just one person or one company holding way too much power, kind of like what you were saying before. But it's completely different business practices and things like that go on over there. So I'm gonna stay hands off on that one.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to just like talk about something we don't know about, which we don't know anything about the Chinese government
Exactly.
more than the average person. And we definitely don't know how Chinese business works because that's wrapped up in the government. My assumption is that this was probably part of the concessions in the deal, because in a lot of business, mainland China does not like working with Japan because of things that have happened in the past. And
Yeah.
typically Japan and Japanese businesses are very proud of themselves and don't want to enter in certain partnerships like that. So this was probably some sort of concession that needed to happen. Again, just my assumptions, my speculation.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually interested to hear your take on what this does mean for China being able to sell this Japanese product from somebody who has experience in researching and being kind of involved in Japanese business.
Sure. So I guess to preface that, I've worked in Japanese companies throughout my whole career so far since graduating university.
Mm-hmm. Here, let me adjust this mic and get this right on you and the spotlight. Okay, there we go.
So China, with its growing economy and its growing middle class that has surged in the past 20-ish years, they are now a huge market, especially because, there's 1.3 billion people in China. They are currently a huge market for media consumption, and that's why we see lots of films made by Hollywood and other countries creating their films to be China-friendly or edit-friendly for China. Especially the big, gigantic films with lots of action and stuff. Those are very consumable products over there for the mass population. So everybody's trying to get a piece of that China pie, which is a gross thing I just said. I don't know why. There's no reason that it's gross, but it just sounds gross. So, of course, Nintendo is trying to get in there. Of course, they're under pressure by their investors to get into the Chinese market. They're asked that at pretty much every financial Q&A. So it makes sense that they sort of have to do this. So in a lot of Japanese businesses that operate very typically and very conservatively, they will definitely take their time with things to make sure that they get it right. And that is often frustrating in international business partnerships, particularly with the West and Japan, because a lot of times the West wants to get it done faster than Japan does. And in all of my experiences working in very conservative Japanese businesses, and I would assume that I would assume that Nintendo is also one of those, just based on what we've seen from what they've chosen to do. I would assume that they're also very conservative and very careful about their decisions. So I have a feeling that this has been something that has been in the works for years and is finally coming together after long negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say too much more than that because, of course, I have no idea. So I don't want to be one of those people, that just like, oh, I went to university and minored in East Asian studies, so therefore I know all about. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
There's enough male Westerners saying that. I don't need to be one of them. I think The Onion did like a really hilarious article a long time ago about how there's now more white Western 20-somethings that speak Japanese than the entirety of Japan. And it's pretty true. You've seen anime clubs before. You know what that's about.
I have, yeah. I've been in a few.
So anyway, Switch China, Nintendo, gonna probably be sold there. We'll see next week if something else is gonna come out with the fiscal results.
Nice.
如果在中国卖 Nintendo Switch 的话，你想买吗？
I've been smoking way too many Gessel Greens.
Poor Chocobo, he can only speak the 中国话 now.
So bad. What is this show?
It's an embarrassing nightmare. So let's talk about additional DLC. Galen, what you got for the people this week?
This week, I have a YouTube channel that I came across called Viva La Dirt League. I believe they're Australian. I might be wrong on that. Please don't quote me on that. That was just the tone that I got from the accents that were in there. But they're a sketch comedy group that deal with a couple of different subjects, but they also have a series called The Epic NPC Guy. And a lot of it is like this NPC who's just kind of standing by the sidelines and watching all the redundancies and idiocisms of RPG tropes, like the, hey, an expansion pack come out, so I need you to go to this island that's never existed until just now, and, do this long quest, which, nobody ever knew about until just a few minutes ago. They make jokes about that kind of stuff. I'm doing a terrible job paraphrasing it,
No, actually,
but
it sounds pretty funny.
yeah, and I always love those kind of like short sketch comedy type things, especially on YouTube. The way that YouTube is actually designed, a lot of those things don't get the support that they actually need, nor the attention that they are warranted given how much work actually goes into putting those together.
Maybe you should make a 10-minute and 30-second video entitled Top 10 Reasons Why These Videos Don't Get Any Play on YouTube.
That sounds like a terrible time, and I would never want to do that.
But that's what YouTube wants.
YouTube can't have what it wants sometimes.
Ad revenue, for one.
What is this money? But yeah, Epic NPC guy, highly recommend it. I've been laughing along to a lot of their stuff, so definitely go check them out, support them. I like it.
Very nice. So for me, I have another video from my homeboy, Matt McMuscles on YouTube. He's dropping another video in his series, Wahapam, and this time it's on Aliens Colonial Marines. Now, Galen and I have mentioned this game in passing plenty of times just because it was a PR, sales, and legal nightmare for Sega and Gearbox.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah.
So Matt's video does a great job of explaining this. And if you don't know what his series Wahapan is about, it is a comedy-based investigative show on pulling the curtain back on notoriously bad games or games with notoriously troubled development. He always does some serious due diligence to get accurate information out there, and he does it with a hefty serving of comedy, and it's absolutely what I love so much. One of my favorite things on the internet is just being fun, lighthearted, spreading accurate information, and exposing bad business practices, and that's what he does with Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah, I really like his the Fallout one that he did not too long ago, so
Yeah.
I'll check this one out too.
He should probably do a part 2 to that because woof.
Right.
So sadly, we are running way over time today. Can't read the listener mail. I'm so sorry to Evan, who wrote us an email. We were about to read it, but no, we can't. We're running out of time. If you have an email, though, and we'll definitely read it next time, send us that email at nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
That email one more time is nintendoeverythingpod@gmail.com.
So what's coming up, what's coming out on the website, nintendoeverything.com? We have a Katana Zero review that just came out, and our reviewer super loved that game, and he has lots of great things to say about it, so do check that out. It convinced me to pick it up, that's for sure. We also have reviews for Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, and some early thoughts on my time at Porsche and the technical issues it has on Switch, which is so sad to me because I got so many good vibes from that game, like Dark Cloud 2 or Dark Chronicle for the EU folks. I'm sad about it, but hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel. We talk about it in the early thoughts, so do check out that post. And we're also going to have a Cuphead review and some Final Fantasy reviews coming up sometime soon, so stay tuned for that as well. That's all on our website, of course, nintendoeverything.com. You can stay connected to us on Twitter at nineverything. We also have the YouTube where you might be listening to this podcast even, youtube.com/nineverything. And speaking of that, we also have this podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher and Pocket Casts and basically everywhere that you want to listen to podcasts, it's there. So you can listen to it however, wherever you like, because I like podcasts on YouTube, but I can't turn my phone off when I'm playing them. You got to play the video and it's annoying. So search for us wherever you look for podcasts. Nintendo Everything Podcast is what we're always under. And then, if you want to be one of the cuties that follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I got some cuties that follow me on there, I creep. My Twitter is at Oni_Dino. And then my Instagram is at Oni__Dino. And then Galen, what about you?
Yeah, if you ever want to get a hold of me or pay attention to my rabid ravings, you can always find me at Mobius087 on Twitter.
So once again, give us a rating, share this podcast with a friend. That's always great for us. And then come right back next week for next week's episode on the podcast, where we're probably going to be talking about financial results. I'm probably going to be on very little sleep because suddenly it comes out like that, and then I got to translate, and it's like, hurry up. So that sucks. But you can catch all that news that's going to be coming out left and right this week on Nintendo Everything. So be sure to... What's the thing?
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
Thank you.
Technically, it is for everything Nintendo.
Thank you. Okay. So, for everything Nintendo,
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
bye-bye.
Do you want some Gessel Greens?
Chocobo.